Have you ever tried to manifest something you really wanted, but no matter how much you thought about it, visualized it, or repeated affirmations, nothing seemed to change? Maybe you tried to manifest more money, a better relationship, improved health, a new opportunity, more success, or simply a life that feels easier and more fulfilling. You may have imagined your desire. You may have written it down. You may have tried to believe that it was already coming. But after some time, you started wondering, why hasn't it happened yet? Am I doing something wrong? Do I need to visualize more? Do I need to believe harder? Or maybe manifestation simply doesn't work for me. But what if the problem is not that you are doing too little? What if you are actually trying too hard? I believe one of the biggest reasons our desires feel delayed is that we become too emotionally attached to receiving them. We want them so badly that we constantly notice that they are still missing. We say that we believe they are coming, but inside we are asking, where are they? Why haven't they arrived? How much longer do I have to wait? And without realizing it, we spend more time focused on the absence of what we want than on the feeling of having it. In this video, I want to explain what manifestation really means to me, why chasing a desire can push us into greater resistance, and how we can become more open to receiving what we have been asking for. And near the end, I will share a simple manifestation process that you can begin using today. Part 1. Wanting something is not the problem. First, I want to make something clear. There is nothing wrong with wanting more. There is nothing wrong with wanting greater financial freedom, a loving relationship, better health, more confidence, or greater success. Desire is a natural part of life. In fact, many of our desires are born from experiences that we did not enjoy. When we experience financial pressure, we develop a stronger desire for freedom and security. When we experience an unhealthy relationship, we become clearer about the kind of love and respect we want. When we feel trapped in our work, we may discover that we want independence, creativity, or a stronger sense of purpose. The unwanted experience helps us understand what we would prefer. So the desire itself is not the problem. The problem begins when most of our attention remains focused on what is missing. For example, someone may say, I want more money because I never have enough. I want a relationship because I hate being alone. I want success because I'm tired of feeling invisible. I want better health because I'm afraid that something is wrong. In each of these situations, the person has a real desire, but underneath the desire, there is also fear, pressure, and resistance. Part of them is moving toward what they want, while another part is continuously focusing on why they cannot have it. It is like pressing the accelerator and the brake at the same time. You may be saying positive words, but inside, you may still feel tense, worried, or doubtful. This does not mean that you have failed. It simply means that your emotions are showing you where your attention has been. Your emotions are not working against you. They are giving you information. They are showing you the difference between what you desire and what you currently expect. Part 2. Stop forcing yourself to believe. One of the biggest mistakes I see people making is trying to force themselves to believe something that feels completely unbelievable. Imagine that someone is deeply worried about money. They look at their bank account and feel afraid. Then they stand in front of a mirror and repeat, I am extremely wealthy. But immediately, a voice inside says, no, you're not. Repeating the affirmation louder may not solve the problem. It may actually make the person more aware of the distance between their current situation and the statement they are trying to believe. I do not believe we have to jump directly from fear into complete confidence. Sometimes, that jump is simply too large. Instead, I believe we should look for a thought that feels slightly better and more believable. Instead of saying, I am extremely wealthy, you could say, I am open to finding new ways to improve my financial situation. Or, I have solved difficult problems before. Or, there may be opportunities that I cannot see yet. Or, I can take one useful step today. These thoughts may not sound dramatic, but if one of them gives you even a small feeling of relief, it is helping you move in a better direction. Manifestation is not about pretending. You do not have to lie to yourself. You do not need to act happy when you feel afraid. You simply need to find a thought that feels a little more open than the thought you were thinking before. Sometimes, alignment does not feel like excitement. Sometimes, it simply feels like relief. It feels like releasing some of the pressure. It feels like recognizing that your current situation does not have to become your permanent situation. You do not need perfect faith. You only need a little less resistance than you had before. Part 3. Become the person who can receive it. When we think about manifestation, we usually ask, What do I want? But I believe there is another important question. Who am I being while I am asking for it? Suppose you want more respect. Are you respecting yourself? Suppose you want greater financial stability. Are you becoming more aware and intentional with the money you already have? Suppose you want a peaceful relationship. Are you practicing peace within yourself, or are you waiting for someone else to create peace for you? Suppose you want creative success. Are you creating consistently, or are you waiting for success to give you permission to begin? This does not mean you must become perfect before good things can happen. It means you begin practicing the emotional qualities connected to your desire before you see the physical evidence. If you want freedom, find one small way to feel freer today. If you want abundance, notice one form of abundance that is already present in your life. If you want love, begin treating yourself and the people around you with more kindness. If you want recognition, begin recognizing your own progress. If you want confidence, keep one promise that you made to yourself. Instead of saying, "I will feel better when my life changes," you begin saying, "I am changing my inner relationship with life now." You stop waiting for your circumstances to give you permission to feel alive. You stop waiting for money to give you permission to feel secure. You stop waiting for another person to give you permission to feel worthy. You begin building those feelings within yourself, little by little. To me, this is one of the most powerful parts of manifestation. You are not only waiting for a new reality, you are becoming more emotionally ready to live in that reality. Part 4. Pay attention to your words. I believe our words are extremely powerful. Our words do more than describe what is happening. They repeatedly direct our attention toward a particular expectation. Listen to some of the sentences people say every day. Nothing ever works for me. Money disappears as soon as I receive it. I always have bad luck. All the good relationships are taken. I'm too old. I'm too late. I'll probably fail again. These statements may seem like harmless observations, but every time we repeat them, we strengthen the same story. And after repeating a story for long enough, it begins to feel like an unquestionable fact. Changing your words does not mean denying your current reality. It means refusing to turn a temporary situation into a permanent identity. Instead of saying, "Nothing ever works for me," you could say, "This situation hasn't worked yet, but I am still open to another solution." Instead of saying, "I always lose money," you could say, "I am learning to make stronger financial decisions." Instead of saying, "I will never find the right person," you could say, "I am becoming clearer about the kind of relationship that is right for me." Instead of saying, "I am completely stuck," you could say, "I may not see the whole path yet, but I can still take the next step." These statements do not deny reality. They simply stop you from closing every possible door. Before repeating an affirmation, I believe we should ask, does this sentence create openness inside me? Does it give me some relief? Can at least part of me believe it? A believable statement that creates relief can be far more powerful than an incredible statement that creates an argument inside your mind. Part 5. Focus without becoming obsessed. There is a very important balance in manifestation. We need to become clear about what we want, but we also need to release our desperate need to control exactly how and when it arrives. Imagine planting a seed. You place it in the soil, you give it water, you make sure it receives sunlight, but you do not dig it up every few hours to check whether it has started growing. If you did, you would disturb the process. We often do something similar with our desires. We ask for something, then we check for it constantly. Has it happened yet? Is this a sign? Am I doing it correctly? Why is it taking so long? Maybe I need another technique. Maybe I need to visualize more. Maybe I need to repeat more affirmations. All of this checking keeps our attention focused on one message. It is not here yet. This may explain why small things sometimes feel easier to manifest. You may casually think about an old song, and later that day, you hear it playing somewhere. You may think about someone you have not spoken to for years, and suddenly they contact you. You may think it would be nice to find a good parking space, and one opens up. You did not become obsessed with those things. You had the thought, and then you allowed yourself to move on. There was desire, but there was very little resistance. With the things we deeply want, we often do the opposite. We think about them constantly. We compare ourselves with other people. We look for evidence. We worry about timing. we wonder what we are doing wrong. And every time we check, we remind ourselves that the desire is still missing. Letting go does not mean that you no longer care. It does not mean giving up. It means your happiness is no longer being held hostage by the outcome. You can still want something. You can still prefer it. But you can also say, I would love for this to happen, but I am still going to live my life today. To me, that is not giving up. That is releasing resistance. Part 6. Manifestation does not mean doing nothing. I also want to make it clear that manifestation does not mean sitting down, thinking positively, and waiting for everything to appear. Sometimes the next step is internal. You may need to calm yourself. You may need to stop complaining. You may need to rest. You may need to release a belief that is no longer helping you. But sometimes the next step is practical. You may need to make a phone call, apply for a position, start the business, publish the video, create a financial plan, ask for help, learn a new skill, leave an unhealthy situation, or have an honest conversation. The difference is not always the action itself. The difference is the emotional energy behind the action. Fear-based action says, I have to force this to work because nothing else will save me. Inspired action says, this feels like the next useful step. Fear-based action feels heavy, frantic, and desperate. Inspired action may still require effort, but it usually feels clearer and more natural. It feels like you are moving with yourself instead of fighting against yourself. I do not see manifestation as a replacement for action. I see it as a way of changing the quality of the action we take. When we are calmer, we notice opportunities that fear may have hidden from us. We communicate better because we are less desperate for approval. We make clearer decisions because we are not trying to escape our discomfort as quickly as possible. Our internal state and our practical actions begin working together. Part 7. Do not use manifestation to blame yourself. There is another part of manifestation that I think is very important. We should never use these ideas as another way to blame ourselves. You do not need to blame yourself for every difficult event, loss, illness, accident, or painful experience. And I do not believe we should tell someone who is suffering that they simply attracted their pain by thinking incorrectly. That is not helpful, and it is not compassionate. Life is complicated. Other people make their own choices. Physical circumstances exist. Unexpected events happen. Sometimes we experience things we never consciously wanted or expected. The useful question is not always, how did I create this? A more empowering question may be, what kind of relationship do I want to have with this experience now? We may not control every event, but we can gradually influence our focus, our interpretation, our choices, and our next response. Our power is not in pretending that nothing difficult happened. Our power is in refusing to let the difficulty completely define what is possible next. Part 8. My simple manifestation process. Now I want to bring these ideas together into a simple process. Choose one desire, not 10 different desires, not your entire life. Choose one area in which you would like to experience improvement. Step 1. Identify the feeling behind the desire. Ask yourself, what do I believe this desire will allow me to feel? If you want more money, perhaps you really want security, freedom, choice, peace, or the ability to help others. If you want a relationship, perhaps you want connection, companionship, affection, safety, or joy. If you want success, perhaps you want purpose, recognition, creativity, independence, or contribution. The physical desire matters, but the emotional feeling behind it is something you can begin practicing now. Step 2. Be honest about how you currently feel. Do not immediately cover your emotions with a positive affirmation. Ask yourself, when I think about this desire, what do I honestly feel? Do you feel pressure, fear, doubt, impatience, hope, excitement? Your honest answer tells you where you need to begin. Step 3. Find a thought that gives you relief. Do not search for the most positive thought you can imagine. Search for a thought that feels better than the one you were thinking before. You could say, I don't have to solve everything today. I am allowed to take this one step at a time. There may be another way. My past does not control every future possibility. I am becoming more open to support. I can notice one useful opportunity today. Choose the thought that gives you the greatest feeling of relief. Step 4. Stop speaking against your desire. For the next 24 hours, notice how often you speak against what you want. You do not need to monitor every thought. Simply catch the obvious statements. When you hear yourself say, "I never have enough," pause and replace it with, "I am learning to create greater stability." When you say, "Nothing is changing," replace it with, "Some changes may be happening before I can see the final result." The goal is not perfect language. The goal is to stop continuously rehearsing the future you do not want. Step 5. Stop checking for results. Give yourself a period of time in which you do not check whether your manifestation is working. Do not search for signs every few minutes. Do not measure your progress constantly. Do not keep asking when it will happen. Return your attention to your life. Clean your space. Take a walk. Work on something meaningful. Call someone you care about. Create something. Enjoy something that has nothing to do with the desire. This teaches your mind, "My life is happening now. I do not need to postpone living until everything changes." Step 6. Follow the next clear action. Ask yourself, what is one step I can take without forcing? Then pay attention. Perhaps you remember someone you should contact. Perhaps you feel inspired to research something. Perhaps a new idea comes to you while you are walking, driving, or taking a shower. Perhaps your next step is simply to rest so you can think more clearly tomorrow. You do not need to know the entire path. You only need to take the next honest step. Step 7. Notice evidence of movement. At the end of the day, write down 3 things that represent movement, support, improvement, or opportunity. They do not need to be miracles. Maybe someone gave you useful information. Maybe you felt calmer. Maybe you completed something you had been avoiding. Maybe you received a new idea. Maybe you handled an old situation differently. This helps train your attention to notice movement instead of automatically searching for what is missing. Part 9. What receiving really feels like. Receiving does not always feel like intense excitement. Sometimes receiving feels like calm. It feels like you no longer have to convince everyone. It feels like you no longer need a sign every 10 minutes. It feels like you can think about your desire without your entire body becoming tense. It feels like being able to say, "I still want this, but I know I can be okay today." From that state, you become more open. You notice more. You react less. You allow new ideas to reach you. You stop rejecting opportunities simply because they do not look exactly as you expected. You stop trying to control every detail. And you begin participating in your life instead of waiting for your life to begin. Maybe you have already asked enough. Maybe your desire is already clear. Maybe the next step is not to ask louder. Maybe the next step is to release the struggle that says you cannot feel happy, worthy, free, or alive until your desire arrives. You can begin feeling a little freer now, a little more hopeful now, a little more confident now, a little more alive now. And from that place, you can take the next step. Not because you are trying to prove that you deserve what you want, but because you are becoming more willing to receive it. Today, I want you to choose one desire and stop chasing it for 24 hours. Do not give up on it. Do not pretend that you no longer want it. Simply remove some of the pressure. Find one believable thought that gives you relief. Speak one sentence that opens a door instead of closing it. Take one practical action that feels clear. And then return to your life. Because the purpose of manifestation is not to spend every day waiting for the future. The purpose is to become more aligned, more aware, and more open to the opportunities that may already be moving toward you. Your desire may not need more force. It may need more space. It may not need more obsession. It may need more trust. And maybe you do not need to chase what you want. Maybe your next step is to become ready to receive it. If this video helped you see manifestation differently, subscribe to the Mind Upgrade for more videos about the law of attraction, emotional alignment, belief, and personal transformation. And in the comments, write, "I am ready to receive." Let that be your intention, not to force, not to chase, not to beg, but to become open to the next possibility. Until the next video, protect your attention, choose thoughts that support you, and keep upgrading your mind.